Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed I'm sorry.
I might do it next year, but not this year.
Which mayor, sorry?
So now?
I must be getting used to it, I'm answering.
Okay, I'm in.
One of those microphones has been acting up because I watched.
So when do I get, when do you need to get it to me
Just send it to Mary Ann, she knows.
The 600,
Maybe a battery going dead.
for the money?
November 15th.
Oh, see, I didn't,
Which one, who was talking on it?
Just send me the documentation.
but if I don't do it this year, I can do it again next year.
Yes,
Okay.
every year.
Hey, Tina, we'll do it next year.
All right, everybody, we're actually live right now. If you want to continue this discussion about microphones, we'll start the meeting. So this is
Testing.
the Budget and Finance meeting for Thursday, October the 24th. We're going to just open the meeting. We've taken the roll call by sign-in sheet. The third item is approval of agenda. We have 2 items to add to the agenda, if it pleases everyone. Ms. Leanne Eaton's here to talk about some employee pay for her department. She's trying to do some hires. So we will add her as under item 9 of the new business 9A. And then what was the other question? It was
The other
on,
one is for sent from capital outlay for holiday lighting.
for holiday lighting for the courthouse, so we probably ought to take a look at that. So that would be item 9B. If everyone's okay with those amendment, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Uh-huh.
All right. And that sets our agenda. All right, public comments, we have a sign-up sheet, which I didn't announce, but is there anyone here to make a public comment? No. We'll move on. So item 5, election of officers for this year. So we need to elect, what do we have, a chair and a vice chair? Do we have anything more than that?
Secretary.
We do have a secretary, okay. So open the floor for nominations for chairman at this time.
I'll nominate Tim Morris.
Tim Morse, okay?
I second that motion. I know he's not here.
That's
He's
because he's not here, right?
He's had,
Yeah.
he
You
had.
don't have to second it, you don't have to
Okay,
second a
okay.
nomination.
He's
Yeah.
had surgery, so he's.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Terry Hirschman.
You can turn it down if you
I can
want.
turn that down. Thank you.
You do
Sorry,
a good
Tim.
job. You do
No.
a good job.
No, Tim wants to be the chairman, and that's fine.
Okay. Is there any other nominations?
So thank you.
Can I move nomination cease?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a
If you
motion.
want to make that in the motion of nomination seat and appoint Terry by acclamation, that'll work.
Terry or?
No,
I'm sorry,
Tim.
I'm sorry, Tim.
Okay.
Sorry, Terry, I didn't mean to
Yeah,
scare
I'll
you
make
there.
that motion.
All right, so we have motion, nomination seats, and the chairman's,
And I'll
Tim
second that
is,
motion.
by acclamation.
Nomination cease.
So there's a second. And, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let me get that down. All right, so our next item then would be to nominate a vice chair.
No, I do not.
I nominate Tim Stubblefield for that.
All right, we have a nomination for Tim Stubblefield for vice chair.
I'll make a motion, nomination cease.
But let's give everybody an opportunity. Is anybody
Oh, come
else? Okay. All right, I don't hear anything. All right, so nomination cease. And, so all in favor of Stubblefield as vice chair?
Aye.
All right. And since the chairman is not here, the vice chairman gets to take over the meeting.
Yeah.
Were we gonna do a secretary?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
are.
gotta do
but
secretary.
You're running the meeting now.
Well,
I just railroaded him
Okay.
right in, didn't I?
yeah.
Hey.
So this is
All right, we
your last
got,
meeting then?
No, but it's last.
nominations for secretary. Do I hear any nominations for that prominent job there?
I nominate Tina
Reed.
Reed.
Tina Reed. Okay, any other nominations?
Tim Brown. He's
Okay.
been awful quiet over there.
Secretary.
We have Tim Brown.
I'm gonna turn it down since
Since what?
she's better than me, taking notes.
Okay. Anybody else? All good? Okay,
Make a motion, nomination cease.
all right. All right, we have motion nomination cease, so congratulations. Start right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
All in favor?
moving on to the, huh? Oh, we got to vote, that's right. Yeah, we need to vote on that, so, all in favor for, Tina as secretary, raise, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None? Motion carries. All right, approval of minutes from the August 29th, September 26th meeting.
Do we have
I
them?
entertain a motion.
I didn't see them.
We don't have them.
Oh,
Don't
Sam,
have
I'm
'em?
sorry, so I emailed and I forgot, so did you print those? So we actually have, minutes from the last two meetings.
I
Did
thought,
those get printed?
Connie did, she
It
didn't put
didn't-
them in the agenda?
I didn't see them. Are they in the, are they attached to the agenda?
No.
I can go get them, if you like. I printed me a copy.
Well, we can, if you want to just carry it over, we can do
Well-
that next meeting.
Yeah, they're done, but
They're done, they just didn't make it here.
back,
Okay.
so.
All right.
Up to you.
Okay. Next item, number 7, school budget amendments. You sure can.
Are they individual or y'all have,
There are 3 separate
okay.
amendments.
So do you want me to talk about all 3 of them at once, or do you want me to talk about each one?
How have you been doing?
All three of you good.
All 3 of them
good.
together?
All 3 of them be good. You don't have to go one by one.
Okay, sounds good. So before you have 3 budget amendments, I'll start with 141, 2025-2. This is a grant that we normally receive in our, this is the second year of a grant that we normally would receive. We received additional funds. We had some of the funds in our current budget right now, but we received more funds. So this is additional revenue and also cleaning up the line items of how the budget was entered. So this is, does not affect fund balance, and this is additional grant money and to clean up a budget item. 141, 2025-3. This is the ISM grant. It maybe refers to the CTE grant. It's a grant that we've had, I think this is the second year of this grant. This is the carryover funds that we didn't spend in the first year. We have this year and part of next year to spend the remaining part of these funds. And so we will use this grant to pay for a few teachers, some equipment, and then the rest of our CTE building at the high school. And this budget amendment does not affect fund balance. And then 141, 2025-4. These are funds that we restricted from the last year's budget, and we're bringing those funds into our current budget. So we had, if you look at the top, we had 3 grants that we didn't spend all of the grant, and so we're bringing those in. So that would be the Spark grant, the CFG grant, and the Walmart grant. And then everything else is either a donation or assigned funds that we had in our budget that we were carrying over from last school year. And then if you look at the bottom part of this section, it shows where we're appropriating those funds into our budget. And then this budget amendment does affect fund balance, but it affects the restricted fund balance, not unassigned. So if you look at the bottom, it shows where our fund balance will currently be after this budget amendment. Our current restricted fund balance will be 8.7 after we do this budget amendment. And this is a normal budget move for us. We bring these funds in so we can use them in the next school year if we have any kind of large ticket items, or we need, like the CTE line, we will need that additional money to finish paying for the CTE building. So I will take questions if you guys have them over all 3 budget amendments.
Okay. Any questions for the 3 budgets as presented? None? I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Do you know who made the motion? Okay, okay. Ben made the motion, second by Tim, okay. All right, any more discussion? If not, all in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I speak. I'm Frater Powell.
yes.
Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm the new kid
Oh, I
on
know
the
you.
block. I'm Janice's husband.
Okay, okay.
How you doing?
Are you Tim or?
Yes, I'm Tim.
Okay, that's
I
what I
know
thought. I just wanted to meet you folks. and,
Yep, yep.
See what goes on, and we're here to try.
Not too much, just a lot of talking.
I know it, I know it. But I appreciate you taking care of things for us, and we'll probably see you later on.
Sure, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to number 8, budget amendments. A, employee longevity pay.
Okay, so 101, 116, 118, and 131, those are all regarding the employee longevity pay that the commission passed on October 1st. We had, at that point, did not have that in the budget, and so I needed to include that to be in order to pay that to the employees.
Right.
And we have a object code of 186, which is a new one, but it is longevity pay in the chart of accounts. So that's what we're using, and each department will have their own code, so it'll be in everybody's, who has employees that will get this. And it has to be separated out that way.
Correct.
I'm hoping that my estimates are correct. They may be more, they may be less, but, so that's what that is. It has like 101, the effect on fund balance was a decrease of 99,273. Rural solid waste was $20,305. Ambulance fund, $20,249, and then the highway department, $11,603.
Okay.
So that's what those are. Did you want me to go with the next one, or you wanna look at those first?
Y'all wanna look at, yeah, just go ahead and go to the next one.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question on
Anybody-
the longevity. It's gonna be delayed, it's not gonna be paid out exactly the exact day, right?
On the 15th.
Oh, you're gonna be able to do that? Okay, all right, no problem then. I just questioning that, okay. All right,
It's November.
Yes.
November,
It happens to be a Friday, and it's
right,
not a normal payroll, so it'd be good to pay that then.
right,
We have all the other going on.
sounds good. All right, you can move on to the next one then.
Okay, the next one, the Education Capital Projects Fund, we had originally put in the budget for $240,000 for two special needs buses, excuse me. But the bid came in higher than that. It actually came in $64,542 higher. So I had to reduce that fund balance by that amount and increase the expenditure.
Okay,
I have bids here if anybody wants to look at them for those.
How many buses are there?
Was
Two.
it two, is that
Two
special
buses.
needs?
Yes.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
So they're
They're not cheap.
I was gonna say, what is the total price of one of those buses?
they're $172,271.
Crazy.
they're high.
Oh, I expected it would
Each.
be.
And I
expected
don't,
more.
I
Especially
forgot how
out of-
long they said it was gonna be. We're still waiting on it. It's
It'll probably next June.
probably
Get
next,
'em.
Yeah.
next year for
We
it.
need to get them,
Yeah.
And they'll go up again.
but the price is fixed, though,
No, the
right?
price is fixed.
Oh, I know this
That's a
price
fixed
is, but
price,
they're
but
gonna
the
go
next
up
one-
again though.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
They've already done that.
We've
I mean, it's
already
like,
cut a
Alright.
deal.
you need to be, we're trying to get to the point where we can order
Ahead of time.
ahead of time every year, but we gotta, like,
Stay with the ambulances, right?
do it,
Just like ambulance.
Ambulances too.
right,
They're hard.
okay.
So that's my 5 budget amendments.
All right, any questions for Mariana on, the budget amendments as presented?
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve all 5 of these.
Okay, have a motion by
I'll second.
Hirschman, second by Brown. All right, any more discussion? If not, all in favor saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mariana, thank you for these
Yeah.
paperwork, because
Yeah.
this
Thank you.
helps me a lot to see them.
Yeah.
It broke down now.
Oh.
Well, there's probably a lot of scrambling there, but you did good, as far as,
It's a group effort.
yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah, Heather looked through it. Alicia
It's
went
easier
through
to
it,
understand now.
I know.
went through it, and make sure we
Yeah.
had the,
Well, appreciate the work.
Yep.
thank you. Well, we appreciate all.
Tim, I don't know if you took a note, but that brings us to 9A.
Do I know?
That brings us to 9A.
9A, yes, 9A, that's
know
what I
if you
got
wrote
down
those
here.
down or not.
Yeah, I got 9A down, I was fixing to move.
Yeah, ready. Come on up here, Leanne.
Well, I appreciate you all being graceful enough to let me come and meet with you tonight. I know it's kind of last minute, but I've kind of found myself in a pinch that I've not been in a long time. Luckily enough, I run a department that is full of people who stay with us. I have some veterans in my office. I don't know anybody else that has people that stay. My least amount is 10 years. I've got 2 employees that have been 10 years with me, and then the other one's 19 years. So, they're obviously troopers for hanging out, but they do a great job, and a lot of you guys in the audience have worked with them in the past, and, we're doing great, but we have a vacancy right now. We had, an employee, a new, fresh right out of college employee start with us about 1.5 years ago, and, just couldn't hang. And I understand, I mean, it's a pretty serious job. We do juvenile court probation, so every case we deal with is pretty heart-wrenching, and it's not easy work, and Chad will tell you, he sees it on one end out at the jail, you know, when the officers pick them up, you know, we end up with them, they get them on the front end, we get them on the tail end, we try to work with them before we send them on to somewhere that's a little bit more intense. So anyway, it's not an easy job, it's very stressful, and it'll take a toll. And I've put together something really fast. I put together a memo, if you guys wanna look at it. Let me grab one of those off the top so I can read with the song sheet. But basically, what I'm looking at, where we are right now, the salary, of the entry-level position of the person who just left. I'll let you all look at that. We've got a job that requires a bachelor degree and 2 years' experience, and, it starts out at 42,000. And if you all wanna read through that really quick, it kind of just gives you a very short synopsis of the issue. Our biggest competitor is Department of Children's Services, and their, salary chart, I've got that. If you all wanna pass one of these around too, this will explain to you a little bit of what my competition is that I'm working with. Most new college graduates in those areas will go into DCS and start out, and their base pay is hovering right at 50,000, which is not what I'm asking for tonight, but our judges want competent employees. I spoke with Judge Ewell about this at length, and the problem with bringing somebody in right out of college with no experience is the fact that the competency level is not there yet, and with the situations that we work with, they're pretty grave, and somebody right out of college, most of the time, they don't have that experience and the time in and the knowledge. And it's a pretty sensitive subject matter that we're dealing with, and some of them, 22, 23-year-old person right out of college is not able to handle it. That's why we added a little bit of experience to the requirement, just because of that issue. So, I posted the position back in July, and, whenever the person left the position, we posted it on the county website a couple of times, no interest. People found out what the pay was, and they were not interested because they're looking at this chart and they're going over to DCS and starting out at $49,000, $50,000 a year. But that's basically what I'm up against. We also tried, everybody in our office is alumni of MTSU, and so we worked with them. We actually got with them and asked them to be on their internship program. So we've been approved for that starting in January, which is gonna help us when January gets here, if we can get some qualified people in. That's a social work program that we're working with, so those people would have the training and be getting the experience as they're working along, but they're being monitored and trained in the proper way. Some of the other majors listed don't necessarily get the same training. We're basically more of a social work, even though criminal justice plays in there, social work is the heart of the matter where we are. So we really need somebody that can handle it and has the degree and is willing to put the time in. Like I said, it's not an easy job, and I hate to even come and ask. I haven't come and asked for anything from a committee since 2019. But I'm kind of getting to the point where it's a necessity. And we've gone 3 months, and the other people in the office have stepped up and taken up the slack, but I don't want to break their backs in the process, because any of them obviously could go to DCS. I've got their salaries here, that I brought a copy of it too, just to illustrate. This is where I submitted the salary sheets to Mariana when we got our 8.5% raise. So if you'll look at the column on the right, that's gonna show you, of course, overlook my name, and then there's one name on here that's no longer there.
Okay.
But their names are on there, but it shows where they are currently. And My 10-year employees are right at 47.8. My 19-year employee is one of the people that, she's actually at that same amount because she's been here long enough to where she's kind of been trapped into the pay scale, the step and grade system, so she's not moved up as well as everybody else has. So anyway, I think there are gonna be a few adjustments to make if we do move the base pay. I talked to the mayor about this briefly yesterday, just to give him the courtesy of knowing where I stand and what I'm trying to do. He suggested the, Policy and Procedure Committee, and I spoke to some people there. I think, I don't know this, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, are they approving salary requests anymore, or is it pretty much go straight to?
I think we got
This
away from that,
committee.
didn't we, Herschel? We did.
So that's why I'm here tonight. I wanted the mayor to know that because he had suggested maybe starting at that level. So after I realized that, because I used to be the chairman of what was the Personnel and Compensation Committee years back, so we did look at those, but now I felt like this might be where I need to start. So that's why I'm here. And so those things that I passed out illustrate
So of this list here, who is it that left?
Haley Miller.
Okay, that's what I
So,
thought so.
yeah. So that one is the one that I'm trying to replace. The others, like I said, David Hawley and Summer Walker, well, they're actually making the same thing. They've been there, there's 9 years difference. There's problem number one. We need to fix a few things. I'm not asking for everything to be fixed at one time, but my main issue right now is getting the base pay up.
This column on the right, is that their current pay? or
The
is
column
that-
on the right is what, after the 8.5%.
So that's their current.
So
pay.
that's current, yes.
Okay.
And how did you distribute that 8.5%? Did you just go equally down and just add 8.5%?
I went down the line. Haley Miller had not been here very long, and I gave her a percentage, but it wasn't quite as much as the others because I'm trying to,
Right.
So you
get
tried to
those
pro-
other
you
two
tried to-
up.
yeah.
yeah, or actually three, but the two main ones were David
And that's
and
why we did
Summer.
that, so you could.
Right,
make
and I
adjustments.
appreciate that because that did help. And the longevity pay for our office has been wonderful, so I appreciate that too while I'm here. But anyway, like I said, I'm kind of at a point where I've got to fill a position and I'm not getting any bites.
What is
And I
the-
hope it's not me.
What is the base pay you're wanting to go up to?
Well, I don't have that in here because I didn't know I was gonna be at the meeting tonight, but I was giving you the DCS pay scale to show you where I'm competing. And I'm not trying to fix, I'm not trying to be revolutionary, but I do need to move it a little closer up to that amount. Since we don't have a pay scale, it's not easy for me to make a recommendation. I can give you a ballpark recommendation.
The problem she's having is if we put that position at 48, 49 to get a hire, they're already making more than the people she's
That
had
would,
for
that
10
would
years.
crucify the people that are there, and if I had to do that, I'd just as soon not do it. I'll take the case, I try to fix it myself. I don't know that I can.
So we're talking a total of 4 positions that we're needing to find funding for. Correct?
Yes, 3 existing, well, the main one would be the base pay, which is the lowest one on that list, the 42,000, but I think that to be fair, I need to make adjustments to the other 3. Just because I
I'm trying to get in
don't,
my head what the total dollars is we're talking here, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
I'm gonna say
15,
impact would be around 15 to 20. Of course, if you subtract out for this budget year, the 3 months I have not paid a salary,
This is true.
it's not gonna be quite that much, but it's gonna be in the neighborhood.
if I could make a suggestion, I don't know if, first of all, she doesn't have a dollar figure for us yet.
Right.
We got a couple options here. We could make a proposal tonight within a certain dollar amount.
I mean, I have a recommendation for
Yeah.
the base pay.
Yeah, and you could go ahead and make a posting, because you're not gonna fill it right away.
Right.
If you wanted to come back and sort all the numbers out later. What do y'all think? That's just my thoughts, Tim.
I mean, I guess my
She's
question.
kinda looking for us to give her a head nod, I think, but aside from that.
Well, I didn't want to just hire somebody and then come to you guys and ask for them. I don't operate that way. I've been a director for a long time, and I just
Wait till you
don't
see
want to
numbers.
put y'all in that
But
position.
I realize we had, this is, okay, it's been just, like I say, I'm not sure anymore, but it's just like, you know, we've been trying to catch everybody up, and yet here's another one we missed because she didn't come ask.
Right.
And I'm
Well,
not blaming
I
you for that.
did, but I
But-
started it before Mayor Matheny
But
passed
not-
away,
but
and so
not-
I didn't make it
but I
through
mean,
the,
in the normal, for several, you said yourself.
for
you had-
budget.
you
No,
had a
I came to
company
personnel and
years.
compensation, right,
Yeah.
because
And-
I really hadn't had an issue but my turnover rate's pretty low. So, I mean, I
So I
have put
appreciate
requests in my budget, Mariana probably could tell you, I have asked for a little more money. It's not that I didn't want that, but, you know, with the percentage coming up, I knew that was coming this year. I knew that I had faith that the ad hoc committee did their job, and they did. And then we got that percentage, so I didn't feel it appropriate to throw another big chunk on top of that. I had no idea I was gonna lose the employee in the meantime, though, and that's where I'm in a predicament.
Yeah, and I'll just make the general comment, this is yet another office where we haven't made that kind of evaluation and bump.
Right.
So I don't think we're double dipping here or anything like that, if any other departments complain.
I feel like that'll
I think-
happen. I would guarantee that there's another department that will be right up here as soon as that happens. But I don't know that they're in the same boat I am, and it's a specialized position, and our requirements are set by the state. You know, the TCA tells us what a youth service officer is supposed to have as far as their educational requirement. And the experience requirement came from the judges because they are the ones, I mean, even though we fall under the mayor's budget, the judges run the court. We do everything the judges order and carry out all that. And not just anybody off the street can have that qualification or experience. I don't know that everybody wants to do the job either. I don't think there's, I was telling Mariana, I don't think there's people knocking down the doors to be a social worker anymore, because it's just, you know, you read the paper, you see how you live in the real world. Nobody wants to take that on. So the people that are there, we're all 40 and over. So I worry about the future for this office also, because, you know, I can see, I've been here 33 years. You know, I don't know how many more years the current staff is going to be there, but they're all in their 40s, so we can kind of do the math. We need to invest in the future a little bit just to establish a good, solid foundation for the future going forward.
I've got a question.
Hey, Tim, I got.
Absolutely.
I got a question.
Yes.
Is there any way possible that you could look over those numbers and give us a kind of a,
I have a recommendation for the base pay. I was gonna suggest
that way we
48.
can vote on it tonight?
I was gonna
if that's
suggest
possible.
48,000.
for your base?
For that, yes, for the entry-level person coming in. The
Since you-
problem with
Well,
that
You're gonna have to
is,
move two people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got people that this will jumpstart over.
well, that's my problem is, you know, and you know, 19 years employee.
Right. So do you need to turn this, do we need to vote on this tonight, or do you need to come back with some definite figures?
What I'm asking for tonight is just the base pay. I would like to be able to, maybe if I could sit down with Mariana or somebody and make appropriate adjustments. I don't want it to be all just coming from me and me shoving this down your throat. I want it to be done, I want somebody, a neutral party, to help me make it fair. And I know she's, you know, got experience in HR. I have a degree in it myself, but I don't feel right throwing a bunch of numbers at you tonight, because my main issue, I didn't know I was gonna be here. So I would have had a more formal presentation, but.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
When we gave the 8.5%, it was a lump sum.
Right,
Each department head divided that up to their own discretion. Most of the department heads divided that, that I'm aware of, divided that bulk number by the number of employees. They did not do 8.5% per employee across the board. When you do the math, you gave yourself 9.6% raise,
well,
is the way I've got it figured.
what happened with that, and if you'll calculate the other ones out, I did not give everything I didn't give the 8.5 to Haley Miller. I spread it out among everybody else in there, because there was an issue with her,
You're saying you spread it amongst the ones that were
the other,
there.
everybody.
Well, I feel like if you had divided it by the number of positions you needed, it would have given that lower position that's vacant a bump up
The
that
person
would have
was-
helped you.
She was still there. There was a reason I didn't do that. She had been reprimanded for confidentiality and was on a probationary status with me, so I didn't feel like that was, I gave her 2%. I gave her close to what would have been a step raise on our old scale.
Okay.
I debated about that. That was not, there's more to that story than meets the eye, and that's the reason. And, there's a personnel
Did you
file.
know she would be leaving?
No, I was working on a probation status, and you're welcome to look at her personnel file. Heather Shelton, if she were here, could walk you through that with me. We worked with her, I worked with her for about 6 months, and I ended up, asking her to resign at the end of July. So the budget had long passed since That, there's nothing, there, I'm not hiding anything in there. If you calculate, I just divided it all between us, because I didn't know this was gonna be an issue. And it really wouldn't be, had that if that employee not left, I wouldn't be here right now, but I just can't fill the position. So, I wasn't trying to do anything underhanded by that, I was just dividing it equally between, all the line items. I just, whatever that percentage was, that was left over, I didn't know how else to fairly do, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have put myself in there, but, I mean, I was told that we all, were gonna get the same amount, or should have gotten the same amount, but then it was also to use to fix, I don't think there was enough there for me to fix all the problems. And
Well,
if you'll
the
look-
way I looked
that
at
wasn't
it,
no, go
the, I'll shut up after
No,
this
you're
one,
good.
okay.
Go ahead.
The bulk amount, when they divided equally by the number of employees, the lowest paid got the largest percentage.
Right.
You know, the lowest paid did not get 8.5%. Some of the departments, the lowest pay got 10.5 or 11%, because they divided the bulk number
On the
by
lower
the
paid.
number of employees. And that's just the point I want to
Right.
make, that did not happen in this
Unfortunately,
department.
there's a reason for that. And that's because I didn't want to reward someone who was on probation with that. I was going to try to keep her on staff and then come back in next budget year. Because that really, majority of this, and like I said, there's write-ups in her personnel file, and Heather, I worked with her the whole way through it and tried for 6 months to get her on a probationary plan to get back in line. But the thing that she did was violate confidentiality, which could have gotten her arrested. You know, I talked to the judges about it. There's a lot more to that story than I can really go into. But it's in her personnel file. If you want to look at it, you're more than welcome to ask Heather. I gave her every bit of my documentation and talked to her just about every day. So that's the reason that didn't work for that particular line item.
I know Policy and Procedures is drawing up a document right now that we've asked some input from Budget and Finance. I think we sent a copy to Lynn to help department heads come to Budget and Finance for the same thing that's going on right now.
Well, I've been
So
told,
they have
that there was gonna be a committee.
directions on exactly what they have to bring to us with all these, with it wrote out. Now, she's kind of went before, she's almost hitting what we're talking about. But,
Was that what coming out of the ad hoc committee?
no,
Assembly?
it is
Just
part of that, but, you know,
Like the
this is
three-man
something,
committee, three,
this is some part of what Policy and Procedures is trying to fix, where department heads who are losing people to other counties and just over minor things, they can come back to this committee and ask for a bump. They have a way to do that. There's actual instructions, step by step, on how to do that. That way they don't come here thinking that they're just gonna get hammered. If they have all the information for us, it should be a piece of cake.
well, out of that, you know, the ad hoc committee that was
It
created.
was created from that, though.
And I think, you know, cause that was, and I don't know, we hadn't brought that before y'all yet, or it hadn't been brought before y'all yet, but that was proposed three-person panel
Mhm.
to hear things like this, and then, you know, vet it and whatever, and just hear what that needs to be done, and then by the time it comes here, it's already worked out by the time it gets here. Everything's, you know, it comes here, so we've done been before this committee, they've approved it, so.
And I think that's part of this, one of
That's
these things.
part of what y'all
yes.
are working
Mhm.
on too, so.
It's not that I haven't tried. I have tried, and I'll tell you something, historically, being here 33 years, the county probation, adult probation department came in 2005. And I remember that because I was asked by Judge Lesinger to head that up to start with. And I had been director of this office since 1998. And I declined it because I wanted to work with juveniles. Anyway, our office had been in effect since, I think, 1988 is when youth services started here in Coffee County. I came about 3 years after that. So the pay scale had built on itself. I mean, we didn't have a pay scale actually when I started working here. We got one, I think it was in 1995, was the original pay scale. And they started us out, they did a salary study. I don't know who did it, I wasn't part of that. I was the low guy on the totem pole. That was before I became director. So anyway, the longevity of this office has been used by other offices to try to elevate their pay, because we've been there longer, and of course, you look at my pay, okay, it says 62,646. How many department heads with master's degrees make that? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not here begging for myself anything. I'm here to try to help move these people up. The people underneath me, but the other departments haven't been there as long. Linda Baker's people didn't make, I don't know, they've gone up quite a bit in the past few years, but I'm sure they've used our office as an example. And they were able to do that because the previous pay scale had steps in it. No offense to her, good strategy. But that's the reason there's been such discrepancy between those two departments, is because our people have been there. The turnover rate down there is a different story. So traditionally, these people were on that step and grade scale. They were only going up 3% every other year. So they were held to that until whatever year we got rid of the pay scale. Not saying that's right or wrong, but that is the reason that I think they're still kind of hovering down here, is because we haven't been able to move them. And then I have gone and tried to, the past at least two budget years, I've gone and tried to have them moved. But there hasn't really been an established procedure for that I know of. People say, well, you need to go to this committee or that one. Now, I kind of have a little clarity on it. But I traditionally haven't come and begged for money. I should have. I'm kind of wondering now. But, this is the result of that. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was because historically we had a scale that held us backward a little bit, and we weren't able to do better for our employees. But I have a group of people that aren't here for the money. They're here because they want to be here, and they're here because of the flexibility they can, if they need to use their vacation time, I don't micromanage every minute of their day. If they need to use it, if they have to pick their kids up from school, they're able to do that without asking off 2 weeks in advance. There are a lot of county benefits that aren't money, and that's why I'm going to say every person is in my office, because all of them could have gone to DCS, because they're all qualified. But instead, they're staying with the county, so I've got to congratulate them for putting up with me, and also, being paid nothing, or not, being paid less than what they're worth, or could make somewhere else. So, I'm proud of them, I encourage them, I want to keep them, but at the same time, if I don't fill this position, I don't know how long they're going to stay, because they're picking up the slack right now. And I'm trying to help too, but, we can't control what comes through on a docket.
Has Summer and David been there longer than Stephanie?
No, Stephanie stepped up into a position as my assistant. She left, they haven't been in the office the same amount of years. She worked at DCS and then came here.
Yeah, I
Years
seemed like
later.
I thought that David and Holly were working at the juvenile probation before Stephanie got in there.
There was 10 months difference. I think one started in January and one started in September of 2014. So, just very few months. But they're both veterans of DCS. They had experience before they came here.
Who's that?
Summer was right out of college. David and Stephanie.
They came.
I've had Summer since she graduated in TSU in 2005. So yeah, but Stephanie's job is the one that requires all the technological. She's pretty much our software person. So she stepped into Amy's position. I offered it to everybody, nobody else wanted it. And she had the special skills for it, so that's why she stepped up in that.
Okay.
This is in line with what we're trying to do, except it's gonna be easier from this process.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything, Sam?
No, I'd like to have some numbers.
I don't have a problem with you, going to 48. My issue is you're gonna have problems with the other two people that's in there right
Right.
now.
I would prefer, if it's gonna come down to nickels and dimes, I would prefer to lower that and try to get them more in line with their years of experience, if possible. But that's where I'm asking for an outside of neutral party to help me with that. I don't wanna I don't wanna throw a bunch of numbers at you guys and you not understand where it's coming from, but I wanna be fair on the longevity, since I have it.
I think you're gonna have to be under the other employees that's there. This is just my opinion, just
For
saying
now.
this, for right now. If you don't, you're gonna have a bunch of disgruntled employees.
Well,
If
and that's
we-
pretty much everybody that has
But-
the experience.
But let me say this, I know that, you're not the only department that's having this problem. And it's gonna be, once we get this new policy in line and done with, it's gonna be easier for a department head to be able to walk into this room and ask for help. So, that being said, I think you still need to have the number down below the two that you have at 47,843.
What, I'm not understanding what the,
Your base pay.
Your
for the-
base,
Oh,
he said
I see what
instead of
you're
having it
saying.
48, you need to
Right.
have it under.
you hire somebody that doesn't have the experience that these ones that you have
Right.
do, and right off the street,
Right. Well, the 2 years
I'm at
is
war.
where I'm, no, I knew that, and I've discussed that with everybody I've spoken to before I brought it to this committee. You know, 45, 46, I mean,
Well, that's what I would think, maybe
you know, somewhere in there, I'm willing to do whatever, I just need to
so
bump
you're
it up from where
advertising it
it
right,
is.
you're advertising it right now for 42, right?
I'm not advertising it at all right now, because
Okay.
I didn't wanna do anything else with it.
But
Because
if
we've
you
already
had to do
posted it.
today, it'd be
But that's what the
42,
pay
right?
is right now.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to resolve this as quickly as I could. We're struggling, but I wanna be able to tell somebody what the number is before they come and interview with me, because that's not fair not to.
So how long has it not been advertised? Because I know you said in June or July you
In,
advertised it.
in July, the 22nd is when our person left. I think it was around the end, maybe the 28th or 9th, whatever, about a week later, I posted it, because we had to pay out a little bit of vacation on the end of that line item. So I didn't want to bring somebody in and go over budget, so I let that roll through, and then we posted it somewhere around the end of July, 1st of August, on the county website,
For how long?
and left it up for 2 weeks at a time. It's been on there twice, and it's been at MTSU on their Handshake website, which is very similar. I think the Handshake icon is on our website. But anyway, I talked to Heather Shelton about that, and so she was the one that arranged all that, because she's worked with the Handshake app with MTSU before, because that's where those graduates are coming out of. Most of them, they're applying here. So that's why we tried it with them and still didn't get any hits. So that's when I talked to them about having interns, because that gives them class credit. There's a motivation for that, because they have to have 2 internships to graduate with a bachelor degree. And
So
it's
you've
free
only
labor.
advertised for 4 weeks, is what you're telling me, right? 2 weeks at a time.
Yes, I think that's the policy now.
Is it?
Yeah, we have a policy for that. It's 2 weeks, I believe.
So,
You leave it up 2 weeks and then pull it?
Then you have to post again.
Well, it expires, I think it's set
Expires
up
in
on
2
a
weeks. Yeah.
time.
But you can renew it.
right.
Yeah, I can
So-
renew it, but I mean, with a month of it, and then also reaching out to university, I think it might have been on MTSU's for a month. So I got discouraged there, but when people asked what the pay is, I told them the number that was left when the person for them.
My thing is, like Chad has said before, we're never gonna be able to catch up with Tullahoma. We're always
Right.
gonna be behind.
Right.
Or we're just never gonna, yeah, we're never, we're
At
playing
this
catch up.
point, I don't really know.
We're trying to
I
play
just need to
catch
fill a
up, exactly.
position.
We're trying to do small steps to catch up, but we're trying to play catch up.
Well, I would think, I would make a recommendation, that's okay.
Make a motion.
Motion.
What about this base pay? We start off at, say 46, and then she can come back with some
She can give it
numbers
Mary Ann
later.
or
Yeah,
whatever
come
and
back
work it
with
out.
some
and-
numbers later
Yeah.
to,
Okay, or maybe when you policy procedures meets and come up with that.
Once that's done, it'll make everything this whole process will be a whole lot easier.
Okay.
it might make that position a little more enticing. And
All right, got a motion.
Second,
Okay, we got a second.
Do you recommend?
Any more discussion on that?
Yes.
I know you want 48.
Instead of the,
but I can get
going up to
second.
42, yeah, from the 42.
All right, there's no other discussion. All in favor, saying aye.
aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So can I get a little bit of clarification on the part about the current employees? Is that gonna be presented again?
You're gonna have to
or
present it at a later date.
For the other ones.
For the adjustments? Okay, that's fine. I just wanna make sure I understood that correctly before I left. Now, I appreciate you guys listening to me at the last minute. I was not prepared to talk today. It just came out of a conversation about 4 o'clock, so
you did a
sorry, I
good
don't
job,
have
man.
a lot of documentation. I usually bring more than that with me. But I appreciate you all, like I said, listening to me. And, this is probably gonna make a big difference in me being able to bring somebody in. Laura knows. How many years did we work together being an SRO? I appreciate you all.
Leanne, when we were talking on the phone, I was actually thought you were adding a position.
No.
Yeah, I
She's trying to
probably got
replace one.
confused on that.
I'm just trying to get back to ground zero. People just don't wanna work. I'm sorry, I don't wanna be. There's just.
I mean, we want our starting salary to be
We do.
as close comparable with everybody else, but,
Right.
you know, if we start paying,
This is a great step in the right direction.
Right.
I'm proud that this took place, so I do appreciate every penny of that, because it takes that
Absolutely, yeah.
to get somebody, and this might be the difference in nobody biting and somebody great coming across, because, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 is not gonna be the make or break, but
Right.
Right.
42 is just, that's just happened the past couple of years.
Right.
That's not something that I didn't neglect bringing it, it's all changed since COVID,
right,
I think.
okay,
Anyway,
Thanks, Leanne.
thank you.
appreciate it.
All right, 9B.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to be brief. Capital Outlay had this, presented to him last night from, Commissioner Hollingsworth. He's been in touch with the, Historic Society about decorating, for Christmas time, decorating the courthouse. Hopefully that the other businesses around the square will fall in line at some point and start decorating it, because right now, their opinion is, well, we don't do anything to the courthouse, so why should they do anything to the rest of the buildings around the square?
No, I think they just do that the tree lighting right there.
That's
don't
all we
they?
do is a tree lighting, but this is going to the point of putting.
On the lights
on
around the
lights
courthouse and stuff,
and
wreaths.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'll be our material from now on. Probably last a minimum of 5 years, before it'd have to be replaced again, but the city is gonna be one installing it. They've elected to install it for us,
So they will.
yeah, so we won't have that cost to bear.
Where will it be stored?
Where would the lights and wreaths and things be stored?
After Christmas?
I have not got that information from Commissioner
I just,
Hollingsworth yet.
He's outside, if we need to know that tonight.
Next door.
But this is
money's
just to
coming out
approve
of the
2,500 out of the
tourism fund?
tourism fund.
Okay.
where it would come. It would be for $2,500 out of the tourism fund. All the committee approved it, and that's why I brought this forward tonight. Because it's a time-sensitive issue. We would like to see it done before January.
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and pass the money for the Christmas decorations, so we can get that done.
Have a motion from Commissioner Brown. Need a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Laura. All right. Any more discussion?
I've got,
Okay, go ahead.
not about that, not about that.
Store it later.
Oh, okay. Any discussion?
There you go.
All right. All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
I just got one thing to bring up. Whatever happened to the nurse practitioner or the county clinic? I mean, that's kind of faded away, and I've not heard anything in a long time. So where is that?
Along with the health insurance thing.
Right,
we were talking about?
right.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
It's not come up in a long time, so I'm just wondering where that's at. If we need to bring it back up.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen now. Okay.
Anything else?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Mariana?
I have a question,
You got,
unless you have something else.
no, I'm fixing to adjourn the meeting.
No,
Yeah.
we need to set a meeting before the commission, because, we've been working on the family court treatment grant. with Judge Perry and, some other persons. And we need, this is something we've been working on for quite a while that we've met about. We have a $333,000 grant we've been awarded for the Family Treatment Court. This is a grant that was run through the old drug court, but now we've moved the recovery court and the Family Treatment Court under the county umbrella. So I'm working on a budget amendment, and we have several contracts that the county will need to approve, because we're using some outside consulting firms, and it'll be for like 5 years, so the county legislative body needs to approve that. So we'd like to get it on the agenda for November 12th, because we need to get it going by the first part of January. There's some guidelines and things that need to be done during the month of
So you
January.
need a meeting before November
November-
12th?
You need it before the
That's the
12th,
next
correct?
Before,
No.
what is it, a week before the commission
Yeah,
meeting,
that's the
we
next
need
one.
to, if we are going to approve something, to be on that agenda. That's what-
So the Thursday before,
They've had that pretty quick.
Is that enough time?
What, when?
Well, they haven't said,
November 7th?
so our,
We already have a capital outlay meeting.
Well, that works even better.
Yeah, then we
Oh,
can go
so
right into the
we-
next meeting
oh.
with her.
yeah.
Can it be at 5 o'clock? Can it be at 5?
Yeah,
that's what time it is, yeah.
I'm good with that.
That's when we all meet.
We're at 4.
So
He's not with us on that
Thursday,
one.
Yeah,
November 7th.
okay, you
is
can
that-
come.
No.
But the 7th be good.
So will that be all right?
Thursday, yes, I'll let
The 7th of November.
We'll have another budget and finance meeting, and then
Well, that, yeah, another meeting. I was gonna say special call, but that's not special.
meeting before, we go to council.
This is probably the only thing on the agenda, so it'll be just,
Yeah, it should go pretty quick.
unless something else comes up. So,
Okay.
is everybody good with that? Do we need a motion on that, or do we just, everybody agree with that?
I
We
agree
agree.
with that.
So we all good?
I would agree.
I'm good.
All right, November the 7th it is.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion accepted. All in favor by standing up.
I don't want to stand up.